तस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोर्श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं श्रीकृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते। तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। नमो महावदान्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायिने कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नामिने गौरत्विषे नमः। पञ्चतत्त्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तिशक्तिकं। श्रीकृष्णचैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। जन्माद्यस्य तन्मयादितरतश्चार्थेषु भिग्यस्वराट् तेने ब्रह्महृदायादिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूरयः। तेजो वारिमृदां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। So we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd Canto, chapter number 29, verse number 11 and 12. And this is a description of Bhakti given by Lord Kapila. In the previous verses he has explained Bhakti which is performed by people without the motive of Bhakti, and therefore it was called Bhakti in the gunas, Saguna Bhakti. So basically Lord Kapila says that Bhakti is of two types, Saguna and Nirguna, which means when you perform Bhakti for the cause of Bhakti, for the purpose of Bhakti itself, or when you use Bhakti for something else. When an object is designed and produced by a company, then they have some purpose in it. People buy it, they can use it also for some other purpose. So AK-47 was invented by a Russian fellow. He made it for the purpose of protecting oneself and defending. And later on he was lamenting very much. He said it is mostly used by terrorists. This was not the purpose for which he designed it or invented it. So similarly, the original purpose of Bhakti is to please the Lord. It is His internal potency. It is meant only for His pleasure, for His service, for His satisfaction. To give Him happiness. Although He is full of bliss, yet He feels more blissful when there is an exchange of devotion with His devotees. But when something is available in the market, and people can also buy it and use it it for their purpose or some other motive. So then it is called Saguna Bhakti. So that he defined earlier, Tamasic, Rajasic, Sattvic. And then in these two verses he is defining what is transcendental bhakti. So we read that last time, but we did not do the commentary. Madguna Sruti Matrena Mai Sarvaguhashaye Manogatira Vichinna Yatha Gangam Vasambhadau Lakshanam Bhakti Yogasya Nirgunasya Hi Udahritam Ahatukya Bahitaya Bhakti Purushottame. So Lord Kapila said that the definition of Nirguna Bhakti is that simply by hearing my qualities, my attributes, who is in the heart of everyone, then the mind flows towards me without any break or obstruction, just like the water of Ganga flows towards the ocean non-stop. And this bhakti is towards Purushottama, the Supreme Lord. It is causeless and without any obstruction or without any gaps. Ahituki and Avyavahita. So this is the characteristic, the definition of bhakti. The basic is Manogati Ravichinna, that mind continuously flows towards the Lord. And how one has it is by hearing. It's a very important point. Mad, Guna, Shruti, Matrena. So this hearing is the important part. Without hearing it is not possible. Madhuguna Shruti Matrena, Manogati Ravichinna. And then it captures the mind. That means in our present state, bhakti manifests through the mind. When mind is captivated, then you perform activities through your senses. When mind is imbued with this potency of bhakti, and then it flows non-stop. So later on in Bhagavatam also it is said that Priti Nama Matra Janita. About gopis it is described that they got Priti for the Lord just by hearing His name. When Krishna was born in Brajan, they heard His name. Then they got developed Priti. Developed means manifested. And they were in complete meditation on Him. So hearing name, because here it says Madguna Sruti Matrena, Nam, hearing the name, hearing the qualities. So this idea of having love by hearing the name, then this was depicted by Lord Chaitanya in his pastimes. So he came, same Krishna, came with his associates who were in Braj, now in another form as devotees. He himself became a devotee and showed that how by the name one gets Priti. This is the essence of his pastime. Therefore, he gave importance to Sankirtan, chanting Sankirtan and hearing Sankirtan. So name is the most important thing for us, which is available, which is at our disposal. And through the name we can approach that Supreme Lord which is not visible to us. We can get love through the name. And once that love is there, then mind flows towards Him. Because mind goes wherever its attachment, its love is. It is the characteristic of the mind that it naturally flows to the object its love, its attachment. So at present we do not have that, but by hearing we understand that we should have it. So then obviously comes that how to have it. So it says by hearing. Tasmat sarvatmana sarvada srotavya kirtitavya. We have to hear, we have to chant all the time, everywhere. So all the time is possible only when this love manifests. Otherwise it's not possible. So this is given the definition of a person who has it. This is the lakshan which has been given. So Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he comments on this. Devanam gunalinganam iti atra lakshitam eva nirgunam bhaktim sukha bodhartham punarlakshayati. So earlier Lord Kapila has also given the definition of pure devotion. Devanam gunalinganam anushaviti karmanam sattvaik manaso vritti swabhaviki tu ya animitta bhagavati bhakti siddhyam gariyasi. That when one's senses, working senses, cognitive senses, they become fixed naturally in the Lord. Not that we have to make an effort. Swabhaviki, this becomes the swabhava. Just like now our swabhava is that our mind naturally does not get fixed on the Lord. It goes somewhere. Try to chant, then your mind starts wandering. Even after hearing the importance of chanting, greatness and wonderful nature of the name, still it wanders because it is not our swabhava. So when that becomes swabhava, that is called animitta bhagavati bhakti. That is the causeless bhakti to the Supreme Lord, and it is superior even to moksha, siddhar gariyasi. So he says this was discussed there earlier, but now he again explains for easy understanding. Because bhakti is not easy to understand, so it has to be repeated again and again. Otherwise repetition is usually considered as a defect in Shastra. Something is said again. So repetition, if there is a repetition of something in Shastra, that means that is actually the purpose of this Shastra. There are 6 ways to understand the purpose of Shastra, and one of them is repetition, abhyasa. Abhyasa purvata phalam, arthvanu patti cha. So then abhyasa is done to stress something, to give importance or to attract attention. Otherwise, why should it repeat? It says something and we understand. So repetition is, as it says, sukha bodhartham, for our easy understanding. It is again spoken here. Madguna shravan matre naiva mayi eva sarva guhasaye sarva antakaran vartitvena sukhdheya murtau sri purushottame manso gatir avichinna bhavati. So when bhakti is there, then madguna shravan, just by hearing my attribute, then the mind flows to me without a break. And then how is me? What type of me? Says sarva guhasaya, sarva antakaran vartitvena, situated in everybody's heart. So that is also good thing about bhakti, that to perform bhakti you don't have to make some special arrangement. Because he says that I am already there in the heart. So you don't have to go anywhere. You don't have to go to any specific place or any special environment. Sarva antakaram vartattvena. I am inside everyone. So all you have to do is just fix your mind on that. So sukha dhyaya murta. Therefore he says I am easily meditable. You can meditate on me easily. If something is not here, then how to meditate on that? Either you have to see it or you have to get picture, photograph or something. Make some arrangement has to be made. So it says, this is Sukha Dhyaya Murti. Purushottama is the Purushottama, the best. Manso Gati Ravichinna Bhavati. Yatha Ambudho Ganga Ambaso Gati. Just as the flow of the water of Ganga to the ocean. Iti hetor tadartham eva bhakti yogasya lakshanam udahritam. So he says that this definition of bhakti yoga is given only for this purpose. Means he become like that. That after understanding this definition, then we should achieve this status that our mind flows towards the Lord. So yena kena prakarena mano krishnam niveshayat. By whatever means, we have to fix our mind on Krishna. So although Krishna is said to be all attractive, somehow he is not able to attract us. We say that Krishna means all attractive. So how is it that he is all attractive and he doesn't attract me? Why is that? This definition of Krishna is not applicable in my case. So that's why we have to understand that there is a problem, and for that reason it is being described that how it has to be done. You have to hear. Attraction is not there, therefore you hear. Yato nirguna shravanadi bhakti yogenaiva mai manogatir avichinna bhavet. So he says that when you will engage in the activity of bhakti yoga, which is nirguna, without any motive, beginning with hearing, then the mind will flow without a break towards, not otherwise. So why the definition, other three definitions were given of tamasic bhakti, rajasic bhakti, sattvic bhakti, and then nirguna bhakti. So those are given so that we avoid that. And this is given that we follow it. So if our mind is already like this, then obviously we don't have to do anything and we engage in bhakti. Naturally we will engage. And if we are not like that, then we have to make an effort to reach this status, and for that reason he says Lakshanam Bhakti Yogasya Nirgunasya hi udahritam. And this is being spoken, has been described, so that we can attain this status. So therefore he says that we have to hear Nirgun Sravan. Means, again Nirgun means that we should remove any ulterior motives. That is not good. That becomes problem. It will delay the process, because this is the ultimate to be achieved. So we have to do our soul searching, introspection, that what are the desires I have. We should have only one desire. One primary desire, other small desires. But there should be one prime desire. And that we should never forget. So prime desire should be only bhakti. And then secondary desires, that okay, I have to make some money, and I have to buy this, I have to get this, I have to make this arrangement. So all these secondary desires should be only for the prime desire. That is the meaning of prime desire. So there should be only one main desire, one main goal, and all other goals should be secondary to that, only to achieve this one goal. We don't have to achieve many things. Usually people make big list, what I want to achieve in my life. So there was one young boy in a village, and he was studying, and he heard a talk given by they have this motivational speakers. So this guy was saying that you should plan your life, you should be very clear what you want to do, fix your goal like this. So he came back, he was very impressed by the talk. So he made a list what he wants to do in his life. So because he heard that if you don't do this, then later on you repent that I didn't do this, I didn't do that. So he did not want to miss anything in his life, so he made a very big list that I want to study like this, I want a house like this, I want a wife like this, job like this, whatever. And then he still wanted to make sure that there is nothing missing. So he went to the village priest, who was a wise man, and he thought that let me consult him. If something is lacking, probably he will help me. He's old man, he is experienced, I am a young fellow. So he went to him and he said, Maharaj, can you help me? So what help you want? He says, I have a wish list. You can check it and tell me what more I should add in it, so that it is a complete wish list. And then I am going to work on this. So he saw the list and he said, yes, there is something missing in it. So he says, what is that? He says, give me the pen and I will add that. So he took the pen and he cut off all this list. So this is nonsense. So he just wrote Bhakti. So this is the only thing. If you don't have this, all this is useless. If you have that, everything has a meaning. So that is the meaning of one prime desire. Otherwise you have so many desires and there is no end of these desires. These desires are like, they are like cloning. That one desire and then it clones into many other ones. And more and you get caught in the desire land. You will get out of it. So there should be only one, and we should become very fixed on that one. Then our life will move to the right direction. And if we don't have that one, then no matter what we are doing, we are meditating, we are chanting, we are doing puja, worship, reading, studying, all this we do, but if we don't have just one main desire, which is Bhakti to Krishna, and everything else we don't know where we are going. So this is very important, that we desire that my mind should only flow towards Krishna non-stop, like the water of Ganga to the ocean. This should be the goal. And then everything else I do, then I can check, because people many times ask, is this good for me, is this bad for me? And it is very easy to make decisions when you are very clear what you want to achieve. When you have one goal, then you see whether this is it favorable to my that one goal or is it unfavorable. You don't need anything else. Your life then should rotate around that. And we have to of course be sincere about it. So Shastra, Guru, they can give guidance, they give light. Ultimately, I have to act. It's not that they are going to tell you at every step, make this, do this. That is not possible for anybody. So this is the meaning. He says that it is for this reason that this definition is given. Bhaved ato bhakti yogam sa lakshanam Udahritam iti falitavarti. So this is the conclusion, outcome of this description, that we should act to get this manogati. Then there is a very nice thing, it says ambudhina स्वलहरिभिः परावर्तितस्य अपि अम्भसो यथा अम्बुधौ एव गति तथा मयापि पारमेष्ठ्य साष्टि सालोक्यादि फलैः प्रलोभितस्य अपि तस्य मयि एव गति. Says that when the river enters into the ocean, then there are waves in the ocean. Right? So the river is entering into the ocean and the wave is coming from the opposite side. So what it is doing, it is throwing back the river water. But although this wave is throwing back the river water, still the river water remains in the ocean only. When not move to upside, it may get stopped, it may splash, but it remains in the ocean. Once it has touched the ocean, where will it go now? So like that he says that sometimes Lord, He may entice you, that I will give you Salokya Mukti, I will give you Sasti Mukti. That is like a wave. But even if He does that, that is also inside Him. Where is Salokya is also within Him. And there also, what are you going to do? You are going to think of Him. So if our goal is fixed, and even if He is doing this, He is trying to push, then still we will fall inside. Even if He gives it and we take it, still we are inside Him only, like the water of the river. And then again you are moving. So this is, he says, the meaning of this example. This is called Vyanjana Vritti. This is the implied meaning. If there is an obstruction outside the ocean, then the water starts flowing up. Although it is flowing up, but still its desire, its intention, its pressure is still to flow. It will look for a place. But once it has reached, means once the mind has become fixed, then it cannot go anywhere. So before reaching this, there could be obstructions and your mind may be disturbed. But once it has reached, then it is avyavahita, there is nothing which can stop it. It will jump up, down, this way, that way, remains inside. एवं च भक्त मनसो गंगाजल दृष्टांतेन ब्रौत्य सत्य पावित्र्य जगत पूज्यत्वादि युक्तानि. Srimad Chakravarti Thakur is very good. One of his expertise, he is a big Sahityak person. One of his expertise is that he brings out a lot of Vyanjana meaning, implied meaning. So he says that this example has another significance, and that significance is that the mind here, mind of a devotee is compared to the water of Ganga river. So water of Ganga river has certain qualities, and one of its qualities is that it is flowing with a speed, especially if you go to the mountain area. It's very powerful current. Then the current is very powerful. Number two, it is very cooling and soothing, especially in India when it is hot. If you take a dip in Ganga, you are fresh, and it is very pure. The water of Ganga is considered as very pure water, purifying. That's why people take a dip and cleans all your, not only bodily dust, but also purifies the mind. So he says that this signifies Dratya means speed, Shatya is coolness, Pavitra means it is pious, there is piety involved in it, it is pure, not just pure like we drink something, but it has purity beyond just the physical purity. And Jagat Pujyat, and everybody worships Ganga. The statement Ganga Ganga Yo Bruyat Sahasra Yojana. If someone chants Ganga even from 100 Yojana away, he got purified by chanting the name of Ganga. So devotee's mind is considered as pure like that. That is the significance of giving this analogy. Tadeva lakshanam kimiti apekshaya. So then he says that what is the meaning of this definition? Then he gives further ahetuki. Hetu karanam phalantar avisandhisya tadrahita. So hetu means karan, cause or purpose, which means some other intention. It's like somebody comes to Vrindavan. So kasya hetu, for what reason one is coming to Vrindavan? So some people may come for the purpose of business or just for relaxing, chilling out. Some people come for that also. Different purpose they come, just to have vacation, take care of health. Some people come here to find a wife or a husband. So this is not ahetuki. If you come to Vrindavan, come only for bhakti. So he says that when there is no other abhisandhi, there is no other intention except service to the Lord, that is called ahetuki. Swaprakashatvat swatah falrupatvacha nayam gyan yogadi vad iti bhava. So why there is no other intention? Bhakti does not have any other intention in the pure state, and which also means that in our practicing stage we should not have any other intention or motive. Why is it? Because bhakti is self-luminous, swata prakash. Self-luminous means that it is not dependent on anything else. When you depend on something else, then you have to have some other motive. If you serve somebody and you will not be satisfied by serving that, then what you have to do, you have to also do some part-time job. Or if you are having partner, wife, husband, and you are not satisfied with that, in the material world this happens, then they look for some other lover or relationship outside marriage. Why? Because it's not fulfilling. It is not swata prakash. So bhakti is self-luminous, which means that it is potent by itself. It is not dependent on anything else to give its result. Like jnana or karma, they are not swata prakash, they are not self-luminous, they are not self-dependent. They need the help. So that's why they have to do bhakti. If one is following the path of jnana or karma or yoga, then they must do bhakti to attain perfection in that path. Otherwise they will not be successful. But in case of bhakti, there is no such thing. So he says that swaprakasatvat swata falrupatvat. And moreover, bhakti is the result in itself. Because you also do some process. If you are following Gyan Marg, say, then you follow Gyan Marg, but why you do it? It is not a hetki. You don't follow Gyan Marg for the sake of Gyan Marg. You follow it because you want mukti. You want liberation. So it is sahetuka, it is with a cause, with a purpose, with a motive. But bhakti does not require that, because bhakti results in bhakti itself. The result of bhakti is bhakti. The result of devotion is love. And that is most satisfying and most fulfilling. There is nothing higher than that. So there is no need that it has to have some other intention or some other purpose behind it. So therefore he says that it is ahituki, that is the meaning. So that's why a devotee does not ask for anything and is not disturbed by anything. Because you could be disturbed if there was something which is alluring to you, something which is superior to bhakti, then you can be attracted to that. And you can also be disturbed if performing bhakti was painful, problematic, that I have to do it all the time, but it's very troublesome. No, it is ananda. It is supposed to be, bhakti is supposed to be combination of Ladani and Samvit Sakti of the Lord. Means pleasure and illumination, enlightenment. So both are available, and these are the only two things people want. They want knowledge, enlightenment, and they want happiness, bliss. What more you want? The drive of human life is either for happiness or for knowledge. We work to gain knowledge and we work to gain happiness, and of course they are interrelated. That's why they are together in bhakti. Knowledge also gives happiness. So happiness is the ultimate purpose. Knowledge also is not for the sake of knowledge, because knowledge also gives satisfaction, peace, happiness. Therefore it is also for Ananda. So bhakti, the very essence of bhakti is these two. That's why bhakti can be a hetuki. There is complete satisfaction and there is no need to do it for anything else. If there was something lacking, then you will do bhakti for that. Like Jnanis, they do bhakti because they want moksha, not knowing that bhakti is complete in itself. But when you understand this, therefore their bhakti is only in sattva, not in nirguna. And their mind is not flowing towards the Lord like that. So he is talking about nirguna bhakti. And this nirguna bhakti is ahituki, it is causeless. So sadhu sangha premanastu pratham dvadas bhumikatvat न तयोर हेतु फलत्वे वस्तुतः इति प्रथम स्कंधे एव व्याख्यातम्. So in first canto, in the second chapter, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he showed 14 levels, 14 steps on the path of bhakti. And he said, Satam Kripa Mahat Seva Shraddha Guru Parashrayah Bhajnesu Spriha Bhaktir Anarthapgamas Tataha Nishtha Ruchirata Shakti Rati Prematha Darshanam Harer Madhurya Anubhava Iti Arthasu Chaturdasa. So he says the first step is Satam Kripa, that you get the blessing of a holy person, a devotee. Sata here means devotee of the Lord. So without the grace of a devotee, it is not possible to take to bhakti. Because bhakti is not material. Bhakti is not some action we perform with material senses. Bhakti is nirguna, as we are seeing. So no one can become a devotee without the grace of Lord. Matirna Krishna Swataya Parvatova. That one cannot fix one's mind by one's own effort or by others' influence. It's only by the grace of a devotee. So, Padarajo Vishekam, Prahlad Maharaj said that you get dust from the feet of a devotee, which means the grace. So, without that it is not possible. So, this is the first step is Satan Kripa. Anyone who takes to bhakti, it is only because of the grace of a devotee. And then when you get this kripa, then the next step is Mahat Seva, that you perform service to devotee. And then you get Shraddha. Then you develop faith. This service could be physical service, hearing is also service, associating, meeting. So by that you get Shraddha, you get faith. And then you get faith, then you accept a teacher, Guru Padashraya. Then Bhajane Suspriha, then you have desire to render service, to do bhajan, chant. And then you engage in bhakti, in the limbs of bhakti. And by doing that, you become free from the anarthas in the heart. A lot of desires stuck inside us, very deep. So many of them we don't even know them. They are hiding like seeds. If you come here in Vrindavan, all over North India in the summer time, then it's very dry. Come in the month of June, very hot, very dry, everything becomes dried up. All this greenery disappears, and you will find land, everything just vacant. And then the rains come, then all kinds of weeds and grass and plants, they start coming out. So where was this thing lying before the rain? It was all inside, but you don't see. You don't see what all types of plants and weeds they take, they sprout. So like that there are many things lying inside our chitta, inside our heart. We may not even know it. So they all will be cleaned by the power of bhakti. And then you will become fixed. You will become very staunch in the process of bhakti. No doubts. Doubts come only because of the anarthas. The anarthas create doubts on these undesirable, unwanted, unfavorable desires, basically, nothing else, which are antagonistic to bhakti, which take you away from devotion. Those desires, they are the anarthas. Could be desire for name, fame, power, position, hatred, envy, all this. So these will be removed, your heart will become clean, then you become fixed. And then you continue, the next stage is ruchi. You now have a taste for it, you like it. It's no more a struggle. In the beginning you have to do it with an effort because you have faith in it. But now you like it, so it becomes very smooth. And then asakti, you become addicted. It's not just question that you like. Sometimes there are many things you like, but you are not addicted to them. Addiction means that now you cannot avoid doing it. you don't feel comfortable without performing bhakti. So that is asakti. And then comes rati. Then it becomes your nature now. You are so entrenched in it that this, your whole existence is only bhakti. It's like only bhakti coming out from every pore of your body, nothing else. And then you have prema. Then love manifests. And then you have darshan of the Lord. And you actually have direct vision of the Lord. And Hare Madhurya Anubhav. The last one is that when you experience the sweet nature of the Lord, which you read here, which is being described. These are all descriptions based on the experience of people. So this is the practical steps. So he is saying here that sadhu sangan premana stu pratham dvadas bhumikatvat na tayor hetu phalatva. Because one can say that this sadhu sangha, this is the hetu and the phal is there. Because one can say that, why do you say that bhakti is ahetuki or without any motive? Because you are getting prema, right? So it also has a hetu. So then what is the answer? If we are getting prema by performing all this bhajan, seva, that means it is also has purpose, it also has a result, it also has a hetu, because he said hetu means, what is the meaning he gave? Hetu, karana, phalantar, some purpose, some result, some outcome, consequence. So then why it is said that bhakti is ahetuki? And actually there is a hetu for this also. It has a phala, it has a result. So why not? What will you say?
Because prema is the natural condition of the soul, isn't it? It is not a goal that is outside of the soul, outside of the self.
No,
It's
the question here is that
it's a natural relationship with Krishna.
the question here is that if suppose you are performing bhakti to attain liberation, so then your bhakti is not ahetuki, not without a cause, you have a purpose to achieve. So now you are performing bhakti to attain prema. We don't have prema to begin with, right? We want to have it. So you are performing bhakti to attain prema. So just as to attain mukti, you perform bhakti to attain mukti, it is called sahetuki, not ahetuki. It's called with a hetu, with a purpose. So if you do bhakti with the intention to get prema, why it is considered as ahetuki?
It's not material.
And liberation is also not material.
And it's not selfish.
Liberation is also not selfish.
Well, I want to be liberated.
So you also want prema.
Yeah, but prema means service. It means service to the Lord.
So that is the point. That the purpose is there, but purpose is not different from bhakti. What is bhakti? Service. What is prema? More service. Service with heart. So it is not something which is different from it. Hetu will be considered, a purpose will be considered when that purpose is different from what you are doing. You are doing bhakti, but you want moksha, you want liberation. So bhakti is one thing and moksha is another thing. So now you are doing bhakti with a purpose. Or as we read other things, they have different purpose, that he wants name, he wants fame. So you are doing bhakti to acquire something other than bhakti. But prema is nothing but a condensed form of bhakti or purest form of bhakti or natural state of bhakti basically. So it is not different from bhakti. Therefore it is not considered as a hetu, purpose or some other motive. So for that reason, when he said earlier, when he has translated the word hetu, he was saying hetu karanam. Hetu, the literal meaning of hetu is karana, cause. And then he says phalantar abhisandhi, means intention to have some other result. Other means other than bhakti. So prema is not other, it is the same. So therefore he says that prathama dvadas bhumikatvat na tayor phaletve hetu phalatve vastuta. That although the first step of, when we read this 14, there are 14, but he says here dvadas, I don't know why. Maybe some things he is not counted. There also he says 14 himself. But here somehow. Okay, he is saying actually the first and the 12th step. In this 14 steps, the first step is Satam Kripa. And someone can say that this is the cause of bhakti. And the 12th step is Prema, because 13th is vision of the Lord and 14th is experiencing the sweetness of the Lord. So 12th is Prema, which is the phala, which is the result. So he says, because these first and 12th, they are included, this is all part of bhakti only. So he says that tayor hetu phalatva. He says in reality, they are not the hetu and phala. They are not the cause and the outcome. Because hetu, the word hetu can mean both. It can mean a cause. So when it is said that bhakti is ahetuki, it means it is causeless, means it is not dependent on any cause. It is not caused by something else. Bhakti, the cause of bhakti is bhakti itself. And the hetu can also means phala. Like when you say, for what reason are you living here? Means what is the purpose you want to achieve. One is that what brought you here. Means what caused you to come here. Another is for what cause are you living. So one cause is which is impelling you to do it. Another is the meaning of cause is what you achieve out of it, right? These are the two meanings of cause. So here in 14 parts or 14 steps of bhakti, first is the cause and the 12th is the result. So he says that although they look like cause and result, but in reality they are not. Because what is the grace of a devotee? That is also bhakti. What he gives is bhakti. Because he has only bhakti. So what causes bhakti and what comes prema is also bhakti. So that's why he says, it's a very nice point. He says, Prathama dvadas sadhu sangha premnostu prathama dvadas bhumikatvat na tayor hetu phalatve. And these are not cause and result. Vastutaya iti pratham skandaya vyakhyakam. He says this was explained in the first canto itself. Avyavahita Gyan Karmadi Vyavdhan Sunya. Then he gives the meaning of Avyavahita, that it is without any gap or without any obstruction, which means that a person who is engaged in bhakti, he does not stop bhakti to perform some karma or jnana. Now this is more from the varnashram point of view, because when people were living here in India following varnashram system, and they had certain duties to perform, which is called karma, nitya karma, regular duties. So then one has to give up bhakti and perform this nitya karma. So in bhakti there is no such break. He will continue doing bhakti only. Tavat karmani kurvita na nirvidyate yavata mat kartha savunadava shraddha yavan na jayate. So perform karma as long as you have not achieved shraddha in hearing Krishna Katha. When shraddha is there, then karma is not needed. You don't have to give up bhakti for that. So therefore he says that this nirguna bhakti is without any obstruction of jnana and karma. Saiva nirguna, that only is nirguna, otherwise it will become mixed. Then you are mixing bhakti with karma, or karma with bhakti, depending on which is predominant. Bhakter aspad shraddha nivas मुखादिनामपि निर्गुणत्वं निर्गुणो मदपाश्रय इति मत्सेवायां तु निर्गुण इति मन्निकेतं तु निर्गुण इति मदपाश्रयम् इति एकादश स्कंध. So now he says that not only that bhakti is nirguna, but everything related with bhakti is nirguna. Shraddha in bhakti is nirguna. If you are living in the place of bhakti, that is nirguna. And what is it? Mukhadinam must be something else. So then he refers to some slokas from 11th canto. In 11th canto, Lord Krishna is speaking to Arjuna and to Uddhava, and explaining the different objects, that the karma performed like this in tamas, performed like this is rajas, performed like this is sattvic, and performed like this is nirguna. So like he says, sattviki kariko sangi ragandho rajasa smritaha tamsa smriti vibhrasto nirguno madvapashraya. If a person performs action or karma without attachment to the result, then that is a sattvic karma. If he performs because of raga, attachment to the result, then that is rajasa. And if he performs in confusion without any understanding, then that is tamasa. But if one performs karma by taking my shelter, madapashraya, that is nirguna karma, that is bhakti. And then सात्विक्या ध्यात्मिकी श्रद्धा कर्म श्रद्धा तो राजसी तामसीय धर्मेय श्रद्धा मत सेवायां तो निर्गुण. To have श्रद्धा in adhyatma means jnana marg, that is sattviki shraddha. To have shraddha in karma, that is rajasi shraddha. And to have shraddha in performing irreligious act, that is tamasi shraddha. To have shraddha in service to me, that is nirguna shraddha. So therefore he says that not only that actions, bhakti is nirguna, but actions relation and even residence. So Svanaitu Sattvikam Vaso, that verse is there, that to live in the forest is sattvic, and to live in a town is rajasic, and to live in a place of gambling, etc., that is tamasic. But to live in a temple, that is nirguna. Vanam tu sattviko vaso gramo rajasochate tamasam tu dyuti sadanam manniketam tu nirguna. So even living is nirguna in case of bhakti. So this he explains that not just the act of devotion, but everything else related with it, Shraddha. Because Shraddha is not part of bhakti. Shraddha is the qualification of the person who is performing bhakti. So that is also nirguna. So there are 4 types of Shraddha. Satviki, Rajasi, Tamasi, and then there is Nirmal. So this is the end of his comment. Stop here.
Tomorrow I'm going. I see. Tomorrow Actually, tomorrow I will be here. We need to.
Yeah, this topic you raised is very interesting about the causeless nature of bhakti, and speaking in terms of non-duality, that this nirgun bhakti is actually non-dual devotion. So necessarily, there can be no difference between cause and effect.
Yes.
And I wanted to ask you that it seems that Rupa Goswami has indicated this himself in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu in his definition of sadhana. He uses the word sadhyabhav for sadhana.
Yeah.
So to me, I've understood this that he's saying that sadhana itself is already the sadhya in the stage of becoming.
Yeah, this is how it is found. I forget the words. Sadhya bhava sa sadhana vida. You use the word sadhya bhava and sadhana, that is called sadhana. I don't remember the words. But this is how he explains it.
So in conventional speaking, we speak of prema as being the goal. But in actual fact, we engage in devotion with the sense that whatever we're doing in this moment, as seva, is already complete. It's already full connection with Krishna.
That is the very beginning of bhakti.
Mm-hmm.
It begins with that only.
So in a sense, all these stages, of that Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur is referring to.
Yeah, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu.
I thought we were looking at
Sadhana. The first word I'm listening is Sadhya bhava sa sadhana.
Yeah, in a sense, we're moving from completion to more complete to more complete.
Yeah, it's actually what you call, the whole thing is the process of manifesting it.
Mm-hmm.
Like from seed to the plant. It's already there.
And for the same reason in that Jiva Goswami's commentary on the defining verse of Bhav in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, he's saying clearly that sadhana is not the cause of the manifesting of Bhav or Prem, because they are not generated events, they are eternal.
Yeah, because this cause and effect is not, all the words are used, but they are not used in the conventional sense. And that's why it's a little bit confusing when we use this word, and this causes this. So he makes this clear. Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Yeah, so therefore there is no duality here, and there is no splitting in the mind, that you do this and you are doing it for this. Actually, this is the most, what you call, synthesizing process. Everywhere else, there is always divisions. You go and you work in your office, so you consider yourself that you are a worker in this particular company. You may even have that identity, and you introduce yourself, especially if you are in a high post in the company, then you say, I am but still you have your own house, your own family, your own private life, and that is the important thing for you. This thing is only a means for that. If you get a better offer, you can probably leave and go there. So there is always a division. But in Bhakti there is nothing like that. Wherever you go, any place, then you are completely, you are one. That's why the word is used sarvatmana. It is performed with your full being. Everywhere else there is some division. It's impossible on any path that you can be complete like as in Bhakti. So when Sukadeva Goswami comes and speaks to Parikshit, then this is the word he uses, that sarvatmana, that with your full being one has to worship. तस्मात् भारत सर्वात्मा भगवान ईश्वरो हरि श्रोतव्य कीर्तितव्य स्मर्तव्य चित्तव्य. Of course he is talking here worshipping the Lord who is the Atma of everybody, but they also worship तस्माद् एकेन मनसा भगवान सात्वतं पति श्रोतव्य कीर्तितव्य ध्येय पूज्य with one mind, one point, no divide. Everywhere else the mind is divided. You have your own private life and then you work somewhere, you do certain activity. Then you become divided. So bhakti only which makes person complete, one without any divisions. कृति साध्या भवेत् साध्य भाव नित्य सिद्धस्य भाव से प्राकट्यं. So this is kriti sadhya sadhya bhava. Any other question or comment?
I have two questions there. One question is that about this example of the river flowing into the ocean. And that even before the river reaches the ocean, it has that urge, that strong desire to reach the ocean, to be in the ocean. And even if there is big obstacles, the river still somehow finds a way to the ocean. So, on the other hand, we see that there is the thing aparada that can even destroy bhakti. How do these two things relate to each other? The river having no other desire than to flow to the ocean, and yet, if it has not reached the ocean yet, it can. There is a possibility that it doesn't reach if there is too much of an obstacle.
Yeah, because aparada means something you are doing not to reach the ocean. That's what aparada means. Whether you do it knowingly or it happens unknowingly, but it is an activity you perform which is contrary to what you are doing or you want to achieve. And that's why it stops that. So the very meaning of aparada is that you want to reach the ocean, but somehow you fall asleep and you take a wrong turn on the highway and you start going somewhere else. So that's what aparada means. You relax, you stop, take a break. So aparada signifies an action which is contrary to the act of devotion. So usually, we should avoid doing it consciously. Anything which happens unconscious is obviously not in my control. There is no need to bother about that. And that will also be taken care by the Lord. So if something is not in my control, then it is not going to cause such a havoc. But I should not do it knowingly, consciously. Then it is okay.
So my second question is about this grace not being the cause, or also that the bhakti only comes by grace, which is causeless. So nowadays there is all this preaching going on, people trying to convince others to become devotees with all kinds of arguments and intentions. Now where does this really stand? Can some genuine bhakti emerge from this? Or is it just completely outside of the scope of bhakti?
Well,
Somewhere in the gunas.
as we study, then nirguna bhakti will appear only if the person who is preaching is nirguna. And he intends in the nirguna way. In the nirguna, of course, if he is nirguna, he cannot have any other intention. But if it is not nirguna, then the outcome is also saguna. Now that saguna also can turn into nirguna, as we read in the previous commentary. Mr. Chakravarti Thakur, he explained that even those people who are performing bhakti with the intention of jnana or karma or something, and in certain cases they come to the platform of nirvana bhakti.
But not necessarily.
Not necessarily.
That again depends on grace. How
Yes.
someone emerges from this saguna, or
Yes.
which then we would say it's a question of sincerity.
Yes. Ultimately it is a question of sincerity.
I was just wondering because in these cases they generally get the philosophy really screwed up, and a screwed up philosophy is always very difficult to correct.
And that's why Mr. Chakravarti Thakur, he made a very important point. Maybe I spoke about it, but it's good to highlight that again. He used the word nirguna sravan bhakti yoga. If you remember, it says nirguna sravanadi bhakti yoga naiva mai manogatir avichinna bhavat. It says only by hearing bhakti yoga, means bhakti yoga in the form of hearing, etc., which is nirguna, then mind will become the way it is described here. Means then only one will have nirguna bhakti. Otherwise not. That's why hearing is important, but also hearing from the nirguna. Nirguna sravana. Means the person you hear from should not have other motive behind. So also the motive should only be bhakti. The motive of hearing, and also the person is.
So if the hearing is not nirguna, all the whole dynamics of anartha nivritti and so on are not happening.
Then they will not happen for nirguna. They will only take you to the saguna. So obviously you will not become.
So some purification takes place, but only within the sattvic
Yeah.
domain.
You will reach towards your goal. But once you reach there, then you can move on from there. That's what he explained. That first he talked about Gyan Mishra Bhakti and all that. Then he explained that Kasyachid Aswamedha Adi Safal Karmanarpati Bhakti Natu Karmanarpamai Sukaswari Mayam Salokya Moksha. Then it depends, because as in the path of Karma Yoga also people perform with sakam, with material desires. Then they can come to the level of Niskam Karma Yoga. From there they come to Jnana Yoga. So similarly here you perform sakam bhakti and then you get the result what you wanted. But after that you may realize that actually this is not really satisfying. And you may hear more, or you already heard, and you develop Shraddha in that, or you come in contact with a Nirgun Bhakta, you do Nirgun Sravan, and then you will advance from there change.
Just one small last question. You explained that the process of Rati and finally Prema, and then one gets the darshan of the Lord. No, it was other way around. One gets the darshan of the Lord and then Prema.
Where is that Prema, then Darshan?
Then darshan. So where this Thai Bhava comes when you get the darshan of the Lord, or when you get Prema?
Before.
Before. After Rati.
First, Rati is Thai Bhava. Rati is another name for Thai
Okay.
Bhava. Just another term. So first we have Thai Bhava, or Rati. Then you have Prema, then Darshan, and then Madhurya Anubhav.
So Thai Bhava is actually manifested when you're
In the sadhak there. That's what we want. After that it is all natural, because then it's bhava. Then that's why after that it is not called sadhana bhakti. It's called sadhana only because kriti sadhya bhavet. Sadhya bhava sa sadhana. It is kriti sadhya. You do it intentionally. Once you have the bhava, then it is not done with any intention. Then you work according to the bhava. Now we don't have the bhava. We understand, we have Shraddha, so we do it with the intention to have the bhava.